Jai Hind to all of you. I'm Dr. Himani Garg, working as professor in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And today I'm going to discuss about FDM and TDM. FDM stands for Frequency Division Multiplexing and TDM stands for Time Division Multiplexing. In communication, FDM and TDM plays a very important role so as to send number of messages at the same time. So that means multiplexing number of messages and transmitting over a single line. So that's why we should discuss about FDM and TDM. Now what we mean by multiplexing? Multiplexing means it is a technique used to combine and send multiple data streams over a single line. The process of combining the data streams is known as multiplexing, and hardware used for multiplexing is called multiplexer. In digital, we also read about multiplexer, where we are having different select lines and where incoming lines are there. Number of incoming messages are there and they are connected together, added together, then multiplexed by sending on a single line. So multiplexing is a very important technique. This is achieved by using a device called multiplexer that combines n number of inputs. I hope if we are having the select lines for this is 0, 1, 2, 3. For 0, 1, they are having different combinations 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. And according to these combinations, any 4 of the lines will be selected and multiplexed together and on a single line. So you are having multiple input lines are there, but you are transmitting on a single medium. Different multiple data streams. These are the multiple data streams that being transmitted over a single line, and this is possible with the help of a device called MUX. Multiplexing follows many to one, that is n input lines. There are n input lines and n number of input lines and 1 output lines. For 3 select lines, here we are having 2 select lines are there. But for 3 select lines, the combination will be, the number of inputs can be 2 raised to the power 3 is equal to 8. So that was 8:1 MUX will be there. So this is about multiplexer and MUX. At one end, if we are using multiplexing, then at the other end, you have to demultiplex the signal. And for demultiplexing, the block diagram will be, you can see here again the select line, and again you are having multiple lines here. At input, you will be having a single line, and output you will be having multiple lines. So this is demultiplexer. It is achieved by using a device called demultiplexer, or it is in short form, it is called DMUX, available at the receiving end. Demultiplexer separates a signal into its composite signal 1, 2, 3, 4. These all are again coming together. 4 signals are coming together, but they are differentiated here. One input and n number of outputs. Therefore, we can say that demultiplexing follows the one to many. In multiplexer, we are having many to one, and demultiplexing, we are having one to many. Now, you can see here at the transmitter end, we are having multiplexer. At the receiver end, we are having demultiplexer. Multiplexer, n number of inputs are there, then one line, and demultiplexer, we are having these lines are there, single line is coming, and then multiple outputs are there. So this is the basic block diagram of multiplexer and demultiplexer. MUX, DMUX. N inputs, n number of inputs are there, one line, and n number of output lines. Now, types of multiplexing. Types of multiplexing can be TDM, time division multiplexing, frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing. As time means we are dividing the messages on the basis of time, on the basis of frequency, and on the basis of wavelength. That is mainly used in optical communication. Next, frequency. First, we will talk about frequency division multiplexing, in which multiple separate information signals can be transmitted over a single communication channel by occupying different frequency slots within the common channel bandwidth. We are having a common channel bandwidth, a single bandwidth is there. On this bandwidth, we are providing different slots of frequencies to different users. Different users are given different frequencies with the same bandwidth, and every user can transmit on its own bandwidth, on its own frequency that has been allotted to it. FDM technique is basically used for multiplexing of analog signals. It is mainly used for analog signals. All analog signals are having different frequencies. We are having analog signals with different frequencies, and then they can be multiplexed with the help of FDM technique. You can see here, signal 1 is there, carrier. In modulation, we know that we need a carrier as well as message signal. We are having number of message signals are there, signal 1, 2, 3, n number of signals are there. If so many users are there, they want to use a common line. If number of users are there, if they want to use a common line, if for example this user is given this line for the whole time, then it may be that he is not using this particular line, then this line will remain unused for the time it is not using. That's why we are using the concept of multiplexing, where this same bandwidth or the same line is being used by different users. The same line is being used by different users, but each is working on different carrier frequency. This is working at FC1, this is FC2, FC3, FC1. And then when the modulation takes place, after that they are multiplexed together and transmitted on a single communication channel. This composite signal is being transmitted. As the modulation done as different frequencies, we are transmitting the signal at different frequencies, and ultimately they are combined together. That's why it is frequency division multiplexing. This is at the transmitter end. Now coming to the receiver end, this single line will be received at the receiver. That will include composite signal. Now we have to take out all the signals one by one from this. For this, we will be using a demultiplexer. This is the FDM receiver. The band pass filter that will be using, taking out the frequency FC1. This band pass filter will be tuned to frequency FC2, this to FC3 and up to FCN. Then all will be demodulated with their own demodulators, and you will ultimately get signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, signal 1. So this will be the process of demultiplexing, or FM receiver will be there, that all the signals have been demultiplexed. Now the receiver section will have a composite signal that was transmitted by the linear mixer over a channel. This composite signal is then fed to different filters that we have already seen, the band pass filter, each having center frequency corresponding to the carrier frequency. And then the band pass filter passes the channel information without any distortion. Band pass filter rejects signals of all other frequencies. As you can see, this band pass filter, if tuned to FC1, then it will reject all other frequencies, FC2, FC3, FSN, and it will take only the signal that will be around FC1, centered around FC1. That means we are able to detect the original, the signal FC1 from multiple signals by using this approach. Now, further, the signals after being processed by the bandpass filter go to individual demodulator section, where demodulation of the signal takes place to separate modulating signal from that of the carrier. So after demodulation, we can have separate signals. Now coming to the next term, that is time division multiplexing. Frequency, time. Now in the cases of time, all signals operate at the same time with different frequencies. We had seen that we are using the channel. All signals are being transmitted at the same time, but as all the signals are having different frequencies, so they can be differentiated. But if we are transmitting all the signals at the same frequency but at different times, then it will be called time division multiplexing. All the signals operate at the same frequency rather than FC1, FC2, FC3. We are having the same frequency but with different time. In TDM, the technique, the total time available in the channel is distributed. The total time for which the channel is available is distributed among the different users. Therefore, each user is allocated with a different time interval known as time slot, at which data is to be transmitted by the sender. A user takes control of the channel for a fixed amount of time. The channel, whole of the channel means all the frequencies in the channel, each channel will be having a particular band of frequencies or bandwidth, and all the frequencies will be available to a particular user for a particular time slot, and then the same bandwidth will be allotted to the other user in another time slot. That means number of users can use the whole bandwidth on the shared basis, on the basis of time. In TDM, the technique data by different users is not transmitted simultaneously, rather one by one. Everybody is transmitting the signal one by one. You can see here, we can see S1 to Sn, there are the signals are there, and then multiplexing is there. But here the multiplexing is TDM, time division multiplexing. So in the first time frame, S1 is transmitting, then S2 till Sn minus 1, then Sn. Then the next frame will start. This is the first time slot that is allotted to S1. Then it is allotted to another subsequent users up till Sn. So in this, the frame is divided on the basis of slot, on the basis of time. It will be more clear from this, because you can see here, if source A is there, it is having 3 packets, A1, A2, A3. This is a time slot T1, TTT, and B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. So first talking about the frame 1, A1 will be transmitted, then B1, then C1. So this will be the first frame. Then for the second frame, A2, B2, C2, and A3, B3, C3. Whereas in the case of earlier, we were sending all the signals, but at the same, at different frequencies, FC1, FC2, FC3. But here we have given the time slots to different users so as to send their data on the same channel, common channel. I hope you must have understood about this time division multiplexing. Now, when we talk about wavelength division multiplexing, as you know, in time division multiplexing, everybody is allotted a different time. And when we talk about optical communication, rather than frequencies, every user is given a different range of wavelength. In optical communication, we work in wavelength. As in optical communication, we transmit signal in the form of light, and in light we are having different wavelengths. In light we are having different wavelengths. Each user will be having a different wavelength. You can have wavelength lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4, and different types of different wavelengths can be there. Now this is equivalent to that of frequency, as it is dependent upon wavelength also. So everybody will be having their own wavelength, and the common channel will be allotted to the different users on the basis of wavelength. Lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4, all will be given together, and then they will be transmitted as lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4. They will not be given the different time slot, but at the same time all the signals can be transmitted. But as they are having different wavelengths, so they will not mix with each other. Every signal will be transmitted with its own wavelength, but surely on the same channel. But at the receiver end, when we talk about demodulation or demultiplexing, then these different wavelengths will be connected together. They are composite signal, they are received as a composite signal, and they can be combined together in time division multiplexing. As you can see here, each user is given a different time slot. In FDM, we had discussed that each user is given a different frequency, so they can transmit on a different carrier frequency and at the same time. But when we talk about time division multiplexing, each user will be allotted a whole of the bandwidth for a particular time slot. As you can see here, if there are number of users S1, S2 up to Sn, and this is your multiplexer, and this is our multiplexer, this is your mux is there, number of users are there, and our data on this channel will be transmitted in the form of frames, and each frame will include data from different sources at different time slots. As you can see, in frame 1, we are having firstly the user 1 data, then user 2. This is a different time slot. At this time slot, user 1 can send the data. For the second time slot, second user. This is up to Sn minus 1 and up to Sn. So every user will be given a allotted a time, particular time, and for a particular frame 1, all of the users are transmitting but at a different time. Everyone is given a different time. In the same way, second user will be transmitting the data. Now this will be more clear from the next diagram. As you can see here, we have also changed the data in the form of different packets are there. Source A, source B, source C is there, and source A is having data packets A1, A2, A3. Source B is having data packets B1, B2, B3. Source C is having data packets C1, C2, C3. Now these are the data packets that each user A, B, C want to transmit. Now in the case of time division multiplexing, as it is clear now, in frame 1, firstly, the time will be given to, this is a time slot. First time slot, A1 is allotted time, B1 and C1. So in the frame 1, you are having A1, B1 and C1. These are the packets of 3 sources but at different times in a one frame. Then for different second time slot, we are having the user A2, B2 and C2, they are transmitting the data in one frame. Then A3, B3, C3, they are using the frame for transmitting their data. Now it may be that user A is having more data and user B is having less data. Then there may be possibility that A is given more time slots and B are given less number of time slots. That is also possible. So this is the working principle of time division multiplexing. Now I think this is clear to all of you. Now I will move to the wavelength division multiplexing. Now this wavelength division multiplexing, as we are transmitting the signal in the form of wavelengths, so this is mainly used in optical communication. In optical communication, we transmit the signal in the form of light, and every user is allotted a different wavelength or light or wavelength. So if you are having a single optical fiber that is having huge bandwidth that can carry more number of signals, thousands and number of signals can be transmitted. In that case, you have to make proper use of that particular channel. We are making use of this wavelength division multiplexing, where each user, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 5, all are having the different wavelengths. They will be multiplexed together. Here we can see in between we can have optical amplifiers are there so as to boost up the signal. And here the transmission media is optical fiber cable. Optical fiber cable will carry the signal in the form of light, and each light will be having different wavelength. So all signals will be transmitted through this optical fiber by multiplexing their signals, and at the receiver end we are again amplifying the signal, and then demultiplexer is used to demultiplex the channels that they were combined together so as to be transmitted over a single communication channel. So this is channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, they have been demultiplexed, and this will be the output, and this is with the input part. Now basically the technique acts in a way that signals get combined using a multiplexer optical combiner. As on optical combination, its term is called optical combiner, and then allowed to propagate using a single cable. Here we are talking about the optical fiber cable. Due to different wavelengths, the unwanted mixing of signals is prevented. All the signals are at different wavelengths, so there will be unwanted mixing will not be there. And using a demultiplexer, the signals are then separated at the respective receivers. As the system enables long distance transmission, thus optical amplifiers are installed at some distances. We have seen that we are talking about long haul communication. The signal has to be transmitted over a longer distance. Therefore, we will need optical amplifiers. Between the cables, these amplifiers increase the signal strength in case of long distance transmission. Once the signal gets propagated, then at the other end it must be separated. So we have used demultiplexer that we have already discussed in the last slide. It is to be noted here that a single optical fiber provides a bandwidth of about 2500 gigahertz. So it has a lot of bandwidth. Thus, this permits multiplexing of various signals from sources for long distance transmission. That means we are multiplexing number of users together and then transmitting it over the bandwidth of 2500 gigahertz over a single optical fiber. Now, as we have discussed about different multiplexing techniques like TDM, FDM, and WDM, so we must be having some idea about the advantages of these systems. Advantages of multiplexing: efficient use of bandwidth. In the last slide, we have seen that optical fiber has bandwidth of 2500 gigahertz. This particular line is having a bandwidth of 2500 gigahertz. If only single channel 1 is being transmitted over this huge bandwidth, that means we are not properly using the bandwidth. That's why if we are using multiplexing, then the first advantage will be efficient use of bandwidth. Increased data transmission, the transmission will increase. Multiplexing can boost the amount of data that can be sent over networks. As different of users are sending the data, we can have increase the data rate. Scalability allows networks to easily expand and accommodate more data. Multiplexing, n:1 multiplexer. That means if we can increase the number of users increasing, we can multiplex more number of signals together. So scalability is possible. Flexibility. Different types of multiplexing can be used based on the specific needs. So whenever the time is important, then we can have at the same time we can transmit all the signals together by using frequency division multiplexing. If time is not a constraint, then every user can be allotted a different time slot. So there is a flexibility in the system. Now coming to the disadvantages: synchronization. As number of signals are being transmitted over the signal channel and then we are receiving them, demultiplexing them, then there will be synchronization issues will be there. Ensuring that multiple data streams made properly, synchronization challenging lead to be potential. So that's why we also send synchronization signals along with the message signals. Latency: combining multiple signals into one can introduce delays, as each data stream needs to be processed, synchronized, and demultiplexed at the receiver. Signal degradation: over longer distance, multiple signals can experience degradation and interference, requiring additional measures such as signal boosters, repeaters to maintain quality. If we are sending only a signal, then it is more easier. But if you are combining so many number of signals, then there is a chances of signal degradation. Resource management: allocating and managing resources for multiplexing. As we are sending so many signals at the time, at the same time, that means the resources that are required for this purpose will be more. So if the resources are more, then we have to manage them also. So it will lead to resource management. For multiplexing can be complicating, required careful planning and real-time adjustments to avoid congestion and ensure efficient operations. We can't have, so now we can add a number of users at the same time. So that should also be clear, that how many number of users can transmit their data at the same time. So all these real-time things have to be taken care of if we are using multiplexing. So these are the references. I hope you must have learned about FDM, TDM, and WDM. So thank you for watching.